Welcome to webinar 7 of the Lead Gen Playbook. We are 7 in, kind of crazy. We are approaching the end, and it's been fantastic to have you guys here along with us. If you are new, if this is your first webinar, this is a 9-webinar series that we've been going through called the Lead Gen Playbook. If you're new to HighLevel, we're the all-in-one sales and marketing platform that agencies and consultants white label, resell to their clients. We've got a 14-day free trial at gohighlevel.com if you want to check it out. And this is webinar 7 in a series of 9. So let's do a quick recap here. Earlier on in the series, we have established that a lot of clients, most clients, have been ingrained to think that they need leads. What we know is that they actually need bookings. We know that clients don't know how to handle leads, so we need to automate that process of lead to booking nurture, which we learned how to do in a previous webinar. And we learned that we need to increase show rates after we do generate bookings for our clients. And we learned how to use a high-level recipe to do that as well. Now it's time to showcase the results. So clients rarely get to see actual ROI reporting, and that's because most platforms just can't see it. They can see leads being generated, like forms being filled out, but we all know that a lead is very far from a sale, right? As we've talked about, it's typically a process, a journey that goes from, new lead to some sort of booking, then they can close the booking into a sale. And so most clients can't see past that new lead as far as the reporting. So when they see ROI, it's basically return on investment of leads, right? Which is not what people actually care about. Business owners are talking about how much money, how much revenue am I actually making in relation to the ad spend that we're spending. So if we can deliver clear reporting, we develop trust with our clients. And when clients trust us because we're showing them data they've never seen before, accurate data, these types of things, they stick around. And that is the name of the game, right? We are trying to drive down our churn and drive up our client retention. And so reporting is a very important piece of that. We've already learned about how on the dashboard, the first thing that you see when you sign into a sub account is a great overall picture. It's funnel marketing at a glance. We learned very on in the Lead Gen Playbook series that we want to use pipelines and opportunities because they generate funnel reports, which makes it very easy for us to look at the funnel and pinpoint where the problems are and start working on those for our clients. But we want to get more granular. And that's where the reporting reports in the reporting tab come in. So Facebook and Google ad reports allow us to see campaign ad specific data right inside of HighLevel. To get it going, you first have to integrate, right? And this is super easy. We just go settings, integration. You connect your Google account, which connects to your Google Ads account. You connect your Facebook account, which connects you to your Facebook ads account. And then you're good to go. You're going to start seeing data populate in those reports. But what's fantastic is that because you're following what we learned in the playbook, because you're using pipelines, opportunities, and the automations, the recipes that we showed you to input the values that are being spent when our opportunities become conversions for our customers, and to change the status of the opportunities, we can do things that I'm fairly confident you've never seen before in any other platforms. What am I talking about? Well, let's hop over to the Facebook report here. And if I scroll down, let's check out what we can see. So we know how much money is being spent, right? The campaign. We know clicks, right? Everybody shows us clicks. And we know leads. And then we can easily calculate the cost per lead, right? But look at this. We've got sales. How many sales were actually made? What's the cost to get a sale? How much revenue was generated from those sales? And now we can see the ROI, the real return on investment when it comes to what was spent and what was actually generated. This ties back to the opportunities and the statuses of those opportunities that we learned about through this series here. So this is an amazing advantage when it comes to reporting for your clients, right? Because most tools can't see what we can see. right? It doesn't see all the way down a pipeline because you're probably not using pipelines in a lot of the other tools, right? It doesn't have the opportunity status and the way that we can change it through the automations that we learned how to leverage in the previous lead gen playbook webinars. So when you follow the playbook, you're going to get to a place where you can come down here and see exactly what's going on and see the ROI being automatically calculated. We can also click in and view the sales and the leads right here. We can export the data and things like that. But I hope you guys are seeing the power of what is happening here automatically, which without it happening like this is such a manual process to even try to figure out how to go about calculating an actual ROI for your clients. So Kat, yeah, we've got all the sessions. You're going to get an email with a recap of all the recordings tomorrow after this one gets uploaded into our YouTube. So you'll definitely be able to go back through. They're all on our blog, blog.gohighlevel.com as well. So don't worry about that. We'll get you the reportings for sure. So true ROI reporting. Now, I will say, and we'll talk about this when we get to what's coming. This is set up for the Facebook ad reporting. It's not yet in there for the Google ad reporting. Google changed their API, so we had to do a bunch of work reconfiguring the report to get it working correctly through the correct API. And now the team is working to go standardize these metrics over on the Google report as well. So right now you're going to see this in your Facebook report, and soon you're going to see it in your Google report. Okay, so let's talk about how this stuff happens. So a lot of people, I'm kind of shocked when I speak to folks and they don't realize that this is going on. Anytime a contact is created in HighLevel, whether that's through a form, a survey, a calendar, I have calendar in there twice, not sure why, a Facebook lead ad, remember we connect directly to Facebook lead ads. We don't need Zapier or anything in the middle, a two-step order form or a chat widget conversation, we automatically detect the source. Where did this person come from before they took this conversion action? And if you're using UTM parameters, we will grab those parameters to detect things like the source, the campaign name, the ad set name, the ad name, campaign ID, FB CLID, Google G-CLID, the keyword, the match type, and the refer. This allows you to filter contacts and build actions in workflows based on this information. So when you're running ads, and I'll show you this in a second, but what's most important here is this. If you are running ads, which you guys are because you're lead generators, you want to make sure that you are using UTM parameters in your ad links. Hopefully this is not out of left field for you, because when you build your ads, you know, there's like UTM builders in Google ads and Facebook ads, but you want to make sure, what we see a lot of times is people aren't using, they might be using like one for the campaign name or something. You want to use them all. And so, because we'll catch that information and then you can utilize it inside the system. So these are the two help docs that will walk you through exactly which UTMs to use and how to set them up. I'll drop those in the chat in a minute, but I just want to reemphasize that when you're setting up your ads, definitely use UTM parameters. If you're unfamiliar with it, what a UTM parameter is, it's just, if we look at my URL bar here, it's like, you know, website.com /? something. So it'll be like gclid equals some random thing, and then ampersand, and then the next UTM parameter, and then the next. And so you can add all these things up, and we grab that information and store it inside of HighLevel, which enables us to do things like this. So if I go over to contacts, we can then filter our contacts by things like, look at all these attribution metrics that we can use. So if you ever wanted to, you know, come in here and say, okay, I want to see contacts that were created in this time period that have this specific campaign ID, you can go get those contacts in a couple of clicks, export them, push them into an automation, whatever it is that you want to do. But the point is, the parameters need to be there when they come and click on the ad in order for us to grab and store them. So we'll do it automatically. You just need to make sure that they're there in the URL. And once they're there, you can come access all of these attribution parameters inside the system. Okay, cool. So I'll drop these two links in here at the end so you guys can go make sure that your ads are using UTM parameters correctly. Let's talk about some other cool, this is sort of an advanced feature. In our workflows, if we hop over to automation and we go into a workflow, we've got these three actions here. So if you search Facebook, you'll see the conversion API. And if you search Google, you'll see add to analytics, add to Google AdWords. These are what we call server-side attribution actions. So what are these and why are they so important? Well, ad networks like Facebook are moving away from browser and pixel tracking. We know this because we saw Apple roll out the iOS 14 update and you guys are seeing it on your phones, right? You now have the ability to say, I don't want to be tracked. And not so surprisingly, the large majority of people are doing that. They're opting out. So things like the Facebook Pixel, the data from those are becoming less and less relevant, less and less reliable. Things like ad blockers have been screwing this up for years. So basically Facebook and the other networks, they know that this stuff is just deteriorating and it's basically to the point where it's not really relevant anymore. What they want to see are server-side conversions coming through their APIs. And so what does that mean? Well, HighLevel is server-side, right? We know when people fill out forms, who that person was by what they put into the form, the actions that they take. And so we are able to, from the server, send back to Facebook a flag saying, hey, a conversion happened and we want you to know about it. And that's what these actions enable us to do without having to be developers, right? We don't actually have to go write an API to send the information through Facebook's API or through Google's API. The workflow will do it for us. This is super awesome because we can trigger, not just, hey, a new lead was generated. We can trigger conversions based on anything that we want. So, if someone moves from this stage to this stage in a pipeline and I want Facebook to register that as a conversion, I can do that by using the Facebook conversion API action. And same thing with AdWords and analytics. So you've got tons of flexibility here to launch server-side conversions right within workflows without having to get developers involved. It's a little bit of advanced because most people are typically just reporting on, leads, and hopefully now the sale conversion, the second step, or bookings, but you can trigger conversions for all sorts of things right inside of workflows. All right, so in addition to that, we have attribution reports. So there's a lot of data in these. I'm not actually going to go through them because it would take forever, but basically there's a conversion report in there where you can get more granular conversion data by form, survey, calendar through those filters. There's the source report where you can view opportunities and contacts generated by source. So you can definitely go check those out. Then there's the call reports. I do want to spend some time here. Call reports are fantastic sets of data, especially because most of your clients have probably never seen call tracking or call reporting before. So this is an incredible way to deliver really valuable insight. We kind of talked about this a while ago through call tracking. So we can track phone calls by the source. We can view metrics like the average duration of a call, which is a pretty good indicator of a good lead, right? If you're spending time on the phone with them, it's generally a good lead. We can listen to the recording calls, which is incredibly valuable for your clients. And then we have robust filtering. So let's check this out. Let me back out of workflows here. And let's go over to our call reporting. And once this data loads up, okay, here we go. Check out these filters. So we can filter by the source of the call. We can filter by the direction of the call, the status, even device type here, duration. This is awesome. So show me calls that were more than 30 seconds. I know those, I don't want to look at those. We can even filter by campaign, by page, and by refer. So there's all this juicy data in here. And down here, you scroll down and you can see, we see top level metrics here: answered versus missed, first time calls, and the average call duration. But if we scroll down, we get the actual calls, right? So we can see the calls, we can see the number it came in on, we can see whether they were answered, whether it was the first time this number had called or not. If there's keyword data there, it'll be displayed. We can see the duration, and if we know the device type, it'll display there. But we can also expand it. We can see more information, and we can, if we find one, maybe we're not recording. I guess this is our main account. We might not be recording these calls. But if you have call recording turned on, you'll see the recording right here, and you can hit play and listen to it back. So there's so much insight to be gained by reviewing the call reports down here. And, we're going to work on some cool stuff with more dispositioning and being able to action off that stuff as well. I don't go into number swapping in this presentation, although hopefully you guys are aware that you can do number swapping. So you can buy a pool of numbers, and then when a visitor comes to the website, the number will change based on however you have the swap set up. So number swapping, call tracking, call recording, super valuable, because I never once had an audit of a client that we didn't dig out something of extreme value. Every time one of our team members would go audit call recordings, they would pull out something that the owner was thrilled to know. Maybe not in a good way, because it was like, I can't believe my staff are saying that. I need to go train them immediately. But regardless, the fact that they had this insight that no one had ever showed them before, right? No one ever had taken the time to audit the calls and say, hey, we're noticing this trend. People are calling in, asking this question, and your staff is responding in this way, which is costing you money. So again, being able to deliver things like that immediately builds trust, and clients that trust us don't churn. They stay with us for a very long time. So hopefully you're leveraging call tracking, call reporting. We also have the agent reporting. So this is pretty cool, especially for clients that have sales teams, because we can measure the performance of specific team members. We can view things like how many opportunities are associated with each specific user, how many emails and SMSs are being sent out by that specific user, how many conversations that they've generated, and even things like average sale duration and velocity. These things were new to me, actually, when we were building them out. Something like velocity, which is a calculation that takes in several different factors. If you guys work with sales teams, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's an important metric for sales teams. And then there's also the leaderboard there. I will point out that agent reporting is only in the Pro plan. So you have to be on Pro to get agent reporting. It's a more advanced feature, but it is pretty cool. And you see that over here in this tab. There's the leaderboard. The metrics will spin up. You can filter to specific users, or you can actually select them all to do comparison stuff in here. So we can see, it's mapping conversations, opportunities, SMSs, emails, call metrics based on the user, and things like that. So pretty cool if you are working with teams and you want to see those metrics relative to the user. There's also the appointment reporting tab. So this one, you can look at appointments based on user. You can view things like how many opportunities. Oh, wait, I think I forgot to change the text on that. So let's actually hop to our appointment report. So we can see overview metrics, like how many appointments are being booked, status tied things, right? How many of those are becoming confirmed? How many of them showed up? How many no-showed? How many canceled? Then we've got some charts here where we can see channel-based stuff. We can do source-based stuff where we can filter here to the funnel. We can also see outcomes over here. So we can see the large majority of our appointments are being confirmed. That's always a good sign there. And then if we scroll down, we get, just like the call reporting, we get all of the bookings listed out here. We can export those. we can do some filtering here, and we can get control over what we want to see in our columns. So we've got the opportunity report as well, in addition to the agent report. The opportunity report is on all the plans, so you guys should see that as well. All right, so coming soon, we've got a bunch of new resources working specifically on reporting now. So we're excited about that. We're excited to make some fixes on the Google side of the house, and then add in some new things as well. So we are adding in the ROI, the cost per lead, cost per sale, the sales, all of that stuff we saw in the Facebook report into the Google report. We're adding the export functionality to the Google report. We're adding filters for first versus last attribution. And then we're going to add in some more granular data as well for metrics like cost per appointment, branded exports, which you guys have been requesting, and more. So all of that stuff we will see coming down the pipeline for reporting, so that we can take things even further for our clients. But let's do a quick recap here. Because of what we learned how to do with pipelines, opportunities, and opportunity statuses, in conjunction with the workflow automations that we learned how to do, we can deliver true ROI reporting like we saw in that Facebook report. And we don't have to go make all those manual calculations. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this, but we certainly see it with our own Facebook ad campaigns. Facebook, when we look at in our Facebook ad report, the conversion metrics, they're always significantly higher than what we actually see in our high-level report. So we don't even use the Facebook report when we make decisions, because the high-level report shows us what's really going on. There's no question, because I can click and see the actual users that converted, and I can see in their history how they converted, where they converted. I can look at their UTM parameters, and I can do all these things. So we're basically really, cutting through the fog when it comes to reporting, and we're super excited to bring that over to the Google side of the house as well. When we can do these things with reporting, when we can drill down and say, yeah, I can tell you exactly who those Facebook conversions were. I can tell you their name, their phone number, their email, all these types of things, what tags they have, what campaigns they've been in, et cetera. It's just something that your clients have never seen before. And so when you can do that, like I keep saying, you build trust. And again, that is the name of the game here. We want to help you guys retain your clients, blow that industry standard of like 1.5 month client retention out of the water, and building trust, providing accurate reporting, providing in-depth reporting is something that will definitely help you build that trust. Once they trust you, there's no reason to leave. All right, so I think, and a quick recap again, if you are new to HighLevel, we do have the 14-day free trial. You can check that out at gohighlevel.com.